View templates are a great way of standardizing your documentation sets. Any of the settings that are controlled through visibility graphics, the scale, the level of detail, the graphics settings can all be set through a view template, which can then be applied to as many views as required. This is a great way to standardize the look of your documentation, and if the view templates are applied to the views, then if anybody makes a change to the view template, all your views are updated. So although one Revit project may look different to another, at least all drawings in that project documentation set will have the same look and feel to them. Let's take a look at the view templates, how we can create them, how they can be applied to a view and several views, and how they can be managed. We'll start this exercise using the Chapter 6 View Templates project file located in your Chapter 6 folder. In the project browser, scroll down and make sure that you have the HVAC Level 3 documentation plan open. From the View tab, click on Visibility Graphics. We're going to make some changes to the way the view appears. We'll start by clicking on the Filters tab. I want to add filters for the mechanical systems. Select Mechanical Exhaust, Return and Supply and click on OK. We can control the visibility of the individual systems and override the lines and patterns, and possibly transparency for those elements. Because this is my documentation set, we don't need a colour plan. So for Mechanical Supply, I'm going to click on the lines and override the lines so that the colour, here I'll change the colour to black. Click on OK and OK again. I'll do the same for the return and exhaust. Now let's take a look at the Revit link file. I've got the basic office building linked in, and I've got custom settings for model categories and import categories. Here you can see that we're actually displaying the floor plan level 3 rather than displaying the model categories. Click on OK, Apply, and OK again. If we scroll into the view, we can see that I've actually missed something. I've missed the flexible connections and the air terminal units. So let's go back to Visibility Graphics, back to Filters. What I want to do now is edit one of the existing filters. I can do that by clicking on Edit New and then selecting the Mechanical Supply filter. This needs to also include air terminals and flexible ducts. Click on Apply, and you can see that my drawing has changed. I can do that also for return. Click on Air Terminals and Flex Ducts, and finally Mechanical Exhaust, Air Terminals and Flex Ducts again. Click on OK and OK. I now have my view defined with the graphics options that I want to choose. To create a view template, all I need to do now is right-click on the view in the project browser and create a view template from the view. Here I'll enter a new name. Let's call this HVAC Generic Documentation and click on OK. I've called this generic documentation as there are some things I want to do with this view template. I don't want to include the overrides for the Revit link files, as in each floor I'm specifying a different DWG, so I can not include the overrides for the link file. Apart from that, we're ready to go. Click on OK. From the Properties palette, we can scroll down and find, under Identity Data, the View Template settings. If I select this box, we can now select the HVAC Generic Documentation View Template and apply it to the view. Click on OK. You'll now see that if I go and try and change things like scale, level of detail, graphic display options, the options are all grayed and I can't change them. That's because they're defined by the view template. If I go back to Visibility Graphics, we'll see the same thing. Model categories, annotation categories, and filters. Note how I can't change these. If I click on the Revit Links tab, however, I can still come and customize these options. So how do I apply these settings to other views? Go back to the project browser and using the Control Select option, click on the other documentation views in the project browser. Click back on the Properties palette and select the view template. Here we're going to select the HVAC Generic Documentation View Template and click on Apply. Click on OK. Now if we go up to the View Templates on the View tab and click on Manage View Templates, selecting the HVAC Generic Documentation View Template will now tell us that we have 11 views assigned to that template. So making a change here will in fact change those 11 views. What happens though if I want to temporarily change what we can see? In order to clarify things, new to Revit 2014 is the ability to temporarily enable temporary view properties. In much the same way as temporarily hiding an element, when you activate the temporary view properties, we get a coloured border around the drawing view. We can then do things such as change the scale, change the level of detail. But if we were to print this drawing, it would print without the temporary view properties. It would print using the view template that is assigned to the view. Come back to the temporary view properties button on the view control bar and uncheck Enable Temporary View Properties, and our view returns to its original state. This means that you should be able to have less views in your project than in previous releases, but that will take a little bit of practice to get used to.